Okay, welcome back. We're back again with another strategy video. This one is about the summary organization tasks. Now, we did go over a little bit of the strategy for fulfilling this task in the summary video about the summary organization tasks. So let's go into it a little bit more detailed in this video. So now here it says you should not have to read the entire reading passage thoroughly in order to complete this task. This might be information which is contested by some teachers. Some might say that you should skim through the whole thing to get a good idea and potentially scan for details. But the thing is, you're going to have to read the answer choices and then you can scan for the details, because some of the information, as you remember from the last video, some of the answer choices can be determined without even really having to read the passage, just in the way that they're worded. So let's get to it. All right, the first two things on this list of the strategy are optional. And that is, as I just explained, skimming the entire reading passage. You don't have to do this. This is a personal preference thing. If you are good at skimming and you can do it rather quickly, then it certainly won't hurt, but it's not necessary. Reading the sample introductory sentence that they give you. For example, they give you a sentence like this, and then you have to add more. Reading the sentence and the information contained in the sentence is not going to help you in any way to answer or to fulfill this task. So the first thing you need to do, read the answer choices. As we have down here in these examples, we have 6 answer choices. And you need to read through those in order to fulfill this task. So read the answer choices. As you're doing that, eliminate answers that are clearly a specific detail and not a summary statement. I believe it was this one. Yes, down below here, like this one. This is a good example of it. Gustav Klimt liked to paint pictures of the female form. Okay, that's factually true. It's a detail, totally not a summary statement. So you can eliminate, in most cases, you can eliminate sentences like this. Now, one of the tricks and traps, which we will get into a little bit further in another video, is that they assume that, if you have this technique, that any short statement is not going to be a summary statement. However, sometimes they actually can be. But if it's a specific detail and not a summary statement, you don't necessarily eliminate it completely, but put it in your mind, put it in the maybe category. So you put the statements which are specific details and not a summary statement into the maybe category. You select answer choices that are clearly either a main idea or a supporting detail. Now, just because it's a long statement does not mean that it's a summary statement. However, most summary statements are going to be a little bit longer. So some of the answer choices, when you read through them, are clearly a summary statement. For example, this one. Gustav Klimt worked in many different mediums, and one of his favorite subjects was the female form. Okay, that's a perfect example of a summary statement. So as you're reading through them, you can put some of them in the definite category. And of course, with those ones, you just select it as you're doing the exam. The other ones that you're not sure of, you put them in the maybe category. Eliminate answer choices that are clearly false information. That doesn't happen very often, but it is possible that they will give you a statement which is not factually true or something which is not stated. Now, with the answer choices that are left, you have to use scanning to find the correct information within the text. So if you have a statement like this, let's say it's this one. Gustav Klimt's most notable and successful period is what is referred to as his golden phase. Okay, so here you might see period. Well, that was referring to a time period, so it could have some synonym that is referring to that. But golden phase is a very clear key phrase because it's not a common phrase. So this is an example of one, especially if it's in quotation marks. You don't have to look for synonyms. You just look for those exact words. And of course, the person's name. So then when you have the answer choices left, you eliminate the ones that are wrong or that are clearly not a summary statement, and the ones that you're unsure of, they're in the maybe category. Then you scan the reading passage to ensure that those are good summary statements. So it might be a short statement like this. Gustav Klimt is most famous for painting in gold. Now that's a very short that's a very short detail statement, but it's also very important information. And I'm just using this as an example. I'm not saying that this is the correct answer here, but sometimes a short statement like that can work as a summary statement. So when you have your maybe category, as you're going through them, you only have 3 answer choices that you have to put in. It's typical that you'll automatically be able to eliminate at least 2 of the answer choices right away. And then with the 4 that you have left, there'll be 2 that are clearly good summary statements, and then there are, you're left with maybe 2 that you have to decide, is it a detail or is it a summary? And that's where you might have to scan the text to get the answer. So this is one where if you have a good idea of what is a summary statement and what is a detail, you can answer this. You can fulfill this task without even reading the reading passage or without even scanning for information. However, you probably will have to for at least 1 or 2 of the answer choices. So then you pick the ones that are the best answers, the best summary statements. Of course, if you're getting to about the 2-minute mark with this particular task type, and you're still not sure, you have maybe 2 sentences left that you're not really sure about, and you only have 1 answer choice, just pick one of them, whichever you think is the best, and then stick it in the answer choice or select it, and then move on, because you do not want to leave any empty. With some of the other question types I mentioned, if you're not sure, pick one and move on to the next question. And those are ones where you only have 1 answer. This has 3 different answers. So maybe you have 2 that are correct and you get 1 wrong. Well, you'll still get points for this task, even if 1 of them is wrong. So it's not an all or nothing thing. So if you get to about the 2-minute mark and you still have 1 that you're not sure about, just pick one and move on. And that's pretty much it. So let's get on to the next lesson, where we're going to learn a little bit more about the tricks and the traps, and then we'll get into the master skills. And that's it for the strategy for answering the summary organization tasks. And we will see you in the next lesson.